Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Drew No Word, and I'm going to be giving you guys today a review on the Spider-Man saga. Yes, which is including the Spider-Man Remastered, the 3 Spider-Man DLCs, and also Spider-Man Miles Morales. So let's get right into it. Now, the graphics. This is running on the PlayStation 5 Performance Mode. Before you start tripping and saying, well, I'm not on fidelity and not using the ray tracing to show you guys that, is for a couple of main reasons actually. One, it's on 30 frames per second. Performance is on 60 frames, which is this right now. Two, the ray tracing do look beautiful, very detailed, a little bit more detailed than the performance mode. But however, when you're web slinging, when you're fighting crime, when you're trying to get through the story, you want the performance because the fidelity is not all the way there. It has this little flakes, it has this little chunky moments and stuff like that, and it just overall, it just does not make New York look good. It doesn't even make your suit look that good when you're web slinging neither. So stick to performance mode. Now, moving right along, we're going to talk about the gameplay. I'm going to split up the gameplay into two parts. First, we're going to talk about the combat. And then second, we're going to talk about the actual story. Now, let's talk about combat. Very innovative. Very innovative. The only thing I don't like about it is the constant button mashing for the square button. Like, you have to constantly button mash the square button. Constantly. Over and over again. But not going to take away the benefits of the other buttons that they make you use, because let's be honest, there are a lot of tools in this game that they give you, a lot of gadgets, a lot of skills, a lot of different ways to attack your enemies, and a lot of different styles on how you want to attack your enemies. So if you want to go stealth, you can. If you want to go tactical, you can. And if you just want to be a straight up brawler, well, you can too. It's just all in the comfortability on what you want to do. But I will say this, they are going to push your limits. They're going to push you. They're going to keep challenging you. And that's a good thing. You will want to challenge. And also, I started the game on amazing difficulty, which is second to hardest. I didn't want to do the hardest just straight up because I never played this type of Spider-Man game before. So I wanted to get the whole balance of how challenging it can be, what's the story about, so I could get through the story, and also the mechanics. I want to get comfortable in the mechanics, and I want to be pushed on my limits to be forced to use every single tool that has been given in the game. So, moving right along, the button mashing, you're gonna get used to it, but that's the only negative side I don't like about it. But it's not bad overall. It's not bad combat overall. I would say for a superhero game, it's one of the best. It's literally one of the best combats that you can have in a superhero game. It's just smooth as butter. To get around enemies, to dodge bullets, to dodge attacks, all of that, oh my god. It is very fun and it's just very relaxing. So, moving right along to the actual story gameplay. The game is not long. It's not long, but it is decently length. Decently length. So it's not short neither. It is very fun to get through the story. They do have their funny parts. They do have their sad parts and emotional parts. But overall, they keep you pretty much on the edge of your seat with pretty much every scene given, and you just want to know what happens next. So it pretty much makes you go in on the story even more. You can't just turn off the system after 2 hours of gameplay and be like, alright, I'm gonna take a break. No, like, you're gonna be stuck after like 2 hours. You're gonna be like, you know what, let me play this a little bit longer, and then boom, 8 hours later you're like, man, this story is pretty good. So I will say this, the story is good, and keep in mind, this is a fresh Spider-Man story. There is no attachment to the comics, there is no attachment to the movies. This is a straight up, freshly made, video game universal story. So instead of like a Marvel cinematic universe, this is like a Marvel video game universe. I don't know if that'll make sense or not, but hopefully it does. So anyway, I know a lot of superhero games and a lot of free roam games tend to make side missions that aren't beneficial to the story at all and to the actual what is it going to benefit you from quote unquote phrase title. So I'm here to diffuse all that when it comes to these side missions and these challenges that you do take in the game within the story mode. Well, not within the story mode, but within your free roam mode. And I will say this, it will help you get through your story. These will benefit you through your story. They're going to put you through scenarios where if you played in the story and you're struggling in the mission, you play those challenges and those side missions, you're going to remember to use those mechanics in the story later on. So please keep that in mind. Every side mission, every challenge is to benefit you. It's for you to become greater in your own gameplay. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now, web slinging. Very fun. It's like the most refreshingest thing ever. You can't be slow. You just can't be slow when you're web slinging in this game. You really can't. There's so many ways to get around New York that it's not even funny. And the way how everything all connects is just, I'm gonna be saying this term a lot, but it's smooth as butter. Like, it's just so smooth. And the developers really tried their best to make you feel like you're Spider-Man. From the combat, to the story, to the challenges, to even the web slinging, and to even when you're like seeing people in the street, some people will actually walk up to him and be like, hey, let's take a picture, or I want a high five, or I want this, or I want that, and they just want to connect with you. And it's just so mesmerizing that they have all these features in this game alone. Now, moving right along into the DLC. Now, the 3 DLCs, each, if you're just getting through the story and you're not trying to worry about the challenges and the side missions, you're going to be playing it for a good hour. Just a good hour. And me personally, this is where I have to get, well, not bad criticism, but strong criticism. I feel that, okay, I get it that developers want to make money and need to make money and stuff like that. And I understand that, but you do not need to give somebody an hour of gameplay and then charge them when you could have just added it into the story. I would have been perfectly fine if the DLCs was just all in the game itself as a first run through as part of the story. It would have been way better. The flow of the game and the chemistry of the game with the characters and who does Peter connect with and who does Spider-Man connect with would have came out way much more better. But I mean, to each his own. I'm not going to be complaining about it. I love the DLCs overall. It's a good continuation from the story, and yes, there are challenges and side missions that again benefit you for the story. They're all to benefit you. So yes, take on all the challenges, take on all the side missions because they're there to benefit you. None of them are pointless. Even when you may feel like they may be pointless, they're not pointless at all. So, what is my overall review for the Spider-Man Remastered and the 3 DLCs? I will say this. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10. Yes, I'm giving that an 8 out of 10. They've done a great job to make you become a winner and make you become Spider-Man. They do a great job on challenging you and pushing you through your limits. And in a beautiful graphic New York as this, you really can't complain at all. There is no complaints. Now, we're going to move right along into the Miles Morales, and I am going to give this game a higher rating. I'm going to explain why. First things first, I just did a back-to-back gameplay of Spider-Man Remastered, the 3 DLCs, and then I jumped right into the Miles Morales. And I will say this, the first thing that I noticed that I loved about it, they do not make you skip a beat when it comes to the melee. Does Miles Morales have his own flavor and style of fighting? Yes, he does have his own style. But the button mashing and everything else that I mentioned earlier in the Remastered is pretty much the same exact thing. Do you have as many tools as the Peter Parker Spider-Man? No, you do not. But the gadgets that are given, very, very beneficial for your gameplay. And like I said, use all the tools that are given. Can't say that enough. Use all the tools, because the more the tools that you use, the better you're going to get through the story, and the better you're going to get through all of your side missions and your challenges. The differences between the challenges in the Remastered and the challenges in this game is, the challenges in this game, they're not really challenges, they're just training. So if you're not good with dodging, they're going to challenge you on that in your training. If you're not really good in stealth in the last Spider-Man game, then they're going to push your limit into being good in stealth in this game. So that was one thing that I realized that I have gotten better in, because I'm not really good in stealth in any stealth games. I'm not really that good. I tend to get impatient. But when you do this training in this Spider-Man game, they are going to give you some stealth training, and it is very, very helpful, very challenging. But once you completed those challenges and you understand the full way on doing stealth, it becomes very, very easier. And I was like, wow, I'm way greater in my stealth than I was in my last game. And the difficulty, I was playing this on the same exact difficulty. Amazing. Because like I said, I like that balance. I like that balance of difficulty. I like that balance of pushing my limits, challenging me, and for me to get through the story as well. So, story-wise, is the story better than the Remastered? My opinion, yes, it is better. It is. They done a better job on explaining Miles Morales' story better than the Peter Parker story. They have Miles Morales more, I would say, more relatable and more connecting to people than Peter Parker did. And I'm not taking anything away from Peter Parker. Peter Parker is still one of my favorite characters in the Marvel Universe. But I will say this, Miles got it. That's all I can say about it. Miles got it. He has his own flavor of fighting crime, his own flavor of web slinging, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm playing the Miles Morales while I'm giving a whole review of all of the Spider-Man games. But I will say this, if they do have DLCs coming out for the Miles Morales, I will be getting them. I will definitely be getting them. Even though I would probably complain about how it was going to be an hour long of gameplay, but still, I will be playing them, because just like the last game with the DLCs, everything connects with the story and with the future Spider-Man games that's going to be yet to come. So that's why I wanted to play the DLCs. It's not like they're all random outside games that have nothing to do with the main story or the main attractions or any of that. They literally connect everything. So keep that in mind. And with my rating with the Miles Morales overall, I'm definitely giving this a 9 out of 10. Just because they pick up where they left off, especially in the very first mission. You have all your combos. It's not like you unlocked anything new. The only thing you unlock new is the gadgets. That's pretty much the only thing you will unlock new. But you're also, keep in mind, you have different special powers. Meaning as you have electricity. I forgot how is it fully called. I think it's like bioelectric or something like that. But it's so cool to know that you're like pretty much a mixture of Electro and Spider-Man in one. And I really like that. I really, really like that. And I enjoy that feature. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. Also another main reason why, like I said, the story is way better. It's way better. It's way more well-rounded. It makes you more connected to the Spider-Man and the characters in Miles Morales' life. So keep that in mind. And also, like I said, they push your limits too in this game as well. They did not skip a beat. The minute you get in, you got all your combos, and it's like, all right, cool. We're gonna amp it up a bit. They're gonna give you a little bit more harder enemies. They're gonna give you more of a challenge to partake in, but they're all to benefit you from. So it's okay to constantly die. I mean, you're gonna be, if you're gonna start off on amazing, you're gonna be on the second hardest difficulty. So you're gonna be challenged really, really good, and it's a good challenge. It's not bad challenges. It's not gonna make you want to just give up and say I quit. That's why I'm recommending you to start off with the amazing setting in all the games, because Ultimate, and it's your first time playing, you're gonna want to rip your hair out. And there was sometimes, I'm gonna admit, I wanted to rip my hair out in the amazing difficulty with certain parts of the game. So imagine what Ultimate will be like. And for those who beat the Ultimate, kudos to you guys. Good job, guys. Keep fighting. I am going to be doing an Ultimate gameplay and seeing how difficult it really is from that to the amazing difficulty. And I will let you guys know that. And for overall, for the whole Spider-Man saga, my rating for it, 8.5 out of 10 for the overall Spider-Man saga. 8.5 out of 10. This is close to being a perfect superhero game. Close to it. So that's about it. The game, just like it says, be greater. You could be great. You could get all these costumes. These costumes are amazing. I really love this Miles Morales costume. This is the Miles Morales 2099 costume. And it's so futuristic and so cool. And one more thing I want to add. No matter what costume you wear, so like let's say if you're wearing a costume and it glows, within the gameplay, your costume is within the cutscenes, it's gonna glow as well in the settings and everything. I really love how PlayStation made it to where everything is all, in a sense, real time. So if you're wearing a costume that was not the defaulted costume in the game, it's gonna be with you everywhere in your side missions, in your cutscenes, and everything. So keep that in mind. And the developers really want you to be Spider-Man. They don't want you to lose. They want you to win, and they want you to be greater, and they want you to be Spider-Man. And what's a Spider-Man without challenges, and what's a Spider-Man without pushing you to your limits to save New York? So with that being said, please like, please subscribe, and please comment all of your experiences in the Spider-Man game. If you have any opinions on how I do reviews, please let me know. I do take honesty. Honesty is always the key. Criticism I will highly appreciate. And on top of that, this is my first review. So hopefully I didn't do too bad, and hopefully I did not bore you guys. And overall, have a happy holidays to everybody. Christmas is coming up. I hope everybody did have a great Thanksgiving. But Christmas is coming up, and I hope everybody enjoyed that. And I'll see you guys on the other side. Alright.